Yeah.
So what can we expect?
Oh, lots of fun as usual. I think we always have fun with these Lego movies. It's a great way to explore the DC universe with a lot of fun, a lot of comedy, a lot of larger-than-life characters, and a lot of Lego bricks.
Brandon, will you be producing any exclusive DC Lego content for the DC Universe service? Is that possible in the future?
I've not heard of anything about that yet, but we can't rule anything out. That's kind of the cool thing about the DC Universe, right?
DC Universe will have Young Justice, right?
Right.
I mean, how crazy is that? Like, we had a show, it went off the air for a while, fans kept it alive and wanted this show to continue, and now it's back. What has that journey been like for you?
Amazing. I mean, as an artist, you just want to make things that makes people happy, and we had a great run of 2 seasons of Young Justice on Cartoon Network. And, we went off the air, we ran our course, and it was amazing to watch in the years that followed how fans continued to support the show, talk about it in social media, start petitions, start fan pages. More fans would find us when Young Justice popped up on streaming services, and we had such an incredible outpouring of kind of love and support for the show that even our bosses couldn't deny that. Well, I think there's something here. I think we need to bring this show back. So it's just been amazing.
Even 10 years ago, when sort of like the Wild West of TV and like content was starting, I don't think I ever could have imagined like just the way shows could get revived like this. I guess, what is it like from the creative standpoint where you can see like, okay, maybe a show does get canceled, but now like even years later, it could still make a return, and sometimes it'll be a reboot or like a total reboot, but sometimes it'll be like what you're doing with Young Justice, or for like something on Cartoon Network like Adult Swim, Samurai Cat. Mm-hmm. It's just, what do you think of that from the creative standpoint?
Just bringing a show back?
Like how I feel like TV, I couldn't have imagined that like 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
So like, what is the paradigm shift now? Or like, why is this possible now? Whereas like 10, 15 years ago, that just couldn't. It didn't happen.
Right. I mean, I think it's the streaming services and the ability for fans to so directly be able to support the things that they love, the shows that they love, because they're popping up on these very specific streaming services, and they can really make their voices heard through the number of times that they watch a show. So they're literally racking up numbers that executives at these streaming services are paying attention to. They're able to support out of pocket by subscribing to these services. And I think, that's I don't think it's ever been such a direct way for fans to support the shows that they love outside of the streaming.
You say direct, so I wonder, were intermediaries a problem in the past for you guys?
No, I mean, not for us specifically, but I feel like, the networks had larger plans, larger overall goals, like it was all
toy
part
sales,
of
merchandise sales.
Sure, all of that stuff. I think it was just a larger machine with multiple shows, sort of an overall network dynamic and a network identity that they were trying to build with the shows that they were putting on their networks. So there were just so many other things. Oh, also advertising, right? I mean, there's so many different dynamics at play with like a network. It feels to me, I'm no authority on this, but it feels to me like the streaming services are just much more focused and much more able to reach out directly to fans. And again, fans are able to show their support by subscribing and giving their money directly to these subscription services, and then again vote for the content that they love most just by watching. Those numbers that show up from watching go right to the executives of these streaming services.
So let's do a compromise, since we got Young Justice back now.
Yeah.
Let's get 2011 Thundercats back.
Oh no, you're one of those.
Let's keep Thundercats Roar. Let's give Thundercats Roar to the people, but let's do Thundercats and get our second season on DC Universe.
It sounds good to me, but are there Lego Aquaman questions?
Yes, there's a few.
Cool.
Well,
I asked the Lego question first.
with Justice League,
Yes.
about 7 months in our rear view, 8 months in our rear view mirror, and then we got the Jason O'Mara Aquaman trailer this weekend. It's an unusual time to go with the more comedic, not beard, Aqua Bro version,
Right.
So talk about kind of what went along with that thought process.
Yeah, well, I think we've wanted to kind of maintain this sort of classic Super Friends look. Lego already had these classic designs in mind, I think, with a lot of their first Justice League toy lines, and that's very much where we wanted to pick up. We wanted to, create a universe that was separate from like the DC live action stuff, or the DC television stuff, or even the DC animated stuff.
Did you see that they met at the Aquaman panel? Or
Who met?
the classic Aquaman met like movie
I haven't
in a
seen
Lego in Lego form
Oh, that's cool.
during the Lego movie thing.
That's awesome.
They had a little skit,
I hadn't seen that yet.
and then they rode off on a wave, and like movie Aquaman rode off on classic Aquaman,
That's
like
fun.
a surfboard.
I'll have to look it up on YouTube or something.
Now, how about in character traits? So you wanted to be classic Super Friends,
Yeah.
which I've appreciated and loved every one of these Lego films. You made the choice for Jessica Cruz as the Green Lantern. So what led to the decision to use Jessica, who has one of the most complex and interesting backstories, which I doubt is translatable to to these Lego films?
It's very tricky. I mean, she has the Jessica Cruz character has such an interesting story. The Green Lanterns are known as being, without fear, and yet this is a character that has a lot of inner fears, and so that was like a really interesting story for us to tell that we thought would be relatable to kids. I think everybody feels a little bit of fear in life, with a test that you have to take in school, or a confrontation with friends at school. And I think that's very much what we try to tackle in these movies is relatable situations that kids go through. And Jessica Cruz is great because she's a superpower, but she still is grounded. She's a superhero, but she's still very grounded with some of the issues that she has inside of herself, some of her inner struggles, her confidence issues, and she is able to rise above that in this movie. And we think that's a great inspirational character for kids.
Now, you've said this is a classic take, the Super Friends Aquaman.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what Jason Momoa and James Wan are doing to sort of make Aquaman cool again?
He was always cool.
Yeah, I think.
agree.
Yeah, he always was. I think the great thing about the DC universe, especially today, is that it holds up in many different artistic interpretations, right? I mean, it's so awesome that we can get sort of the badass warrior Aquaman in movie theaters, but we can also kind of get the more classic take in animation, and that's the Aquaman that I grew up with. And I think kids are gonna love this guy just as much. I think he's got such a big personality. I think of all the Justice Leaguers, I think our Aquaman probably has the biggest personality, a lot of self-confidence. Again, this is a sort of series of movies and stories where we like to explore the weaknesses of heroes, superheroes. That even superheroes have moments where their confidence is shaken, and our probably most confident character, Aquaman, goes through a personal crisis in this movie, and is rather shaken by a turn of events. I don't want to spoil everything, but it's very much about how he kind of looks inside himself, has support from friends to kind of get over a personal crisis and triumph as a hero.
Brandon, in your opinion, can Aquaman only talk to fish and marine life, or can he talk to other animals if he can redirect his powers?
We go into that a little bit in the movies. It's something we've explored and we've tried to play with a little bit, so I don't want to give too many spoilers, but yeah.
Well, I don't know if you remember in the Paul Dini, Bruce Timm animated series, Aquaman made an appearance, and he was able to communicate or have some sort of telepathic link with seagulls. And seagulls are an avian.
Sure.
They're seagulls, but they're birds. They fly. They don't live in the sea. So if you can do that, don't you think you can talk to other animals as well?
Probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there'd be some language barriers. Maybe some animals might have really thick accents for him. Maybe that would be very
It's up to
difficult.
Chuck John. Yeah, you guys have gone really like deep cut with characters. Is there a favorite you have that hasn't made it into the Lego movie yet?
Hasn't made it in yet.
That you'd love to do.
Gosh, there's so many. I don't know if I have a favorite though. Are you giving me the?
I'm going to give you the hook, but if you want to answer Derek's question,
Thank you, Garrett.
tell him you really like that Lego Nightwing.
I guess we're saying, when is the Lego Inferior 5 coming?
There's a lot of Young Justice characters I'd love to see in Lego
Yeah,
for sure.
that would be cool.
So obviously Young Justice is very close to my heart. So if I could get a Young Justice team in a Lego movie someday, that would be amazing.
Just do season
Great,
4
thank
in
you.
Lego form.